Hey, this is Mike from Run Testers, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how the New Balance 1080 V13 compares to the New Balance Rebel V4. Now, on paper, these are two New Balance daily trainer shoes that shouldn't actually have a lot in common, but is there a little bit more to it? So myself, Nick and Tom have all been running in both of these shoes, and what we're going to do is share our experiences with both and let you know whether you should go for the New Balance 1080 V13 or the New Balance Rebel V4. So before jumping into those running experiences, here's the key things you need to know about the Rebel V4 and the 1080 V13. Let's start with price, and the Rebel V4 is the cheaper of the two shoes in both the UK and the US. The Rebel V4 also weighs in lighter, coming in at 208 grams compared to 255 grams in a UK men's size 8. In terms of fit options, the 1080 V13 offers standard, wide and extra wide fits, while it's just the one fit for the Rebel V4. Now, while the drops are the same, the stack heights are not, with the 1080 V13 packing in a bigger stack of New Balance's Fresh Foam X foam, while the Rebel V4 uses the fuel cell foam featured in the SC Elite V4. Unlike the Elite V4, there's no plate in the Rebel V4, nor is there one in the 1080 V13. The rubber outsole designs are different too, with the 1080 V13 offering considerably more coverage to suggest it's going to be the one that's likely to hold up greater against regular runouts.
So the fit for me in these two shoes, in the New Balance Rebel V4, I found it to be quite comfortable, but I did get a bit of rubbing on the end of my toes. So I'm a size 8 in the UK in normal shoe size. This is a size 8. I would have gone up half a size in this shoe because it's a little bit tight at the in the forefoot for me. The New Balance 1080 V13, I would definitely stay to my size in this. I'm a size 8 in the UK. This is a size 8. It's a very comfortable shoe. There's plenty of padding in it, plenty of room in the forefoot. And it's easy to get a nice comfortable lockdown fit in this shoe, so I'd stay to my size in the 1080.
When it comes to fit of the two shoes, I've actually got different sizes of these two shoes. I've got my normal UK 9, which is a US 9.5 in the 1080. With the Rebel, I went half a size up because I have found the line has fit very close at the top of my foot before, so I got a UK 9.5, which is a US 10. Actually, I've got quite a lot of room in the Rebel around the toe box. That's mostly to the side. It's got a very wide toe box, I found, this shoe. Actually, the length is kind of okay, but I probably actually could have stuck to my normal size. Actually seems a similar length to the New Balance 1080. I think the 1080 has a slightly more normal fit all round. I think it's definitely a true to size shoe for me, whereas the Rebel still might be a little bit short, so you could go half a size up in it, but do watch out for that wide toe box. I've got quite a narrow foot, so I would rather stick in my normal size and have a little bit less room at the front to not be too wide around the sides of my feet. At the same time, it has been fine going half size up in the Rebel. I've run in it a lot and it's been very happy, and I was perfectly happy all round in my normal running shoe size in the 1080.
So in terms of fit, I've actually had these two shoes in different sizes. Now, I've had the 1080 V13 in a UK size 8. That is my typical running shoe size. That is typically what I would go for in New Balance's shoes. With the New Balance Rebel V4, I've had this in an 8.5, so half a size up from my usual size. Now, in terms of my experience, I would say that this definitely fits more true to size. It's a little bit more snug in general compared to this shoe, but I wouldn't think about going half a size up, half a size down. This has worked for me. Kind of hugs very nicely. I was very happy in terms of space up front in the toes, the hold in the midfoot. No kind of heel rubbing or any issues from that point of view. So I think if you're looking at the shoe, going true to size is going to absolutely work. I do think, while this isn't my typical shoe size, going half a size up in the Rebel V4 has kind of paid off for me. I think ultimately, if I'd gone for a little bit like with the SC Elite, probably it might have hugged a little bit more. There's a lot of space in this kind of toe box, but on the side of the shoes. But ultimately, I think going half size up has paid it off for me. It's a lighter feeling upper. There's less padding in general on the tongue and the heel compared to the 1080 V13, but unlike the SC Elite, no kind of issues in terms of lockdown. I haven't had to play around the lacing, and I've not had any kind of issues in terms of rub. So for me, I would say go true to size based on my experience in the 1080 V13. The Rebel V4, I think there is an argument to say go half a size up, because for me, I think going half a size up or having this shoe in half a size up has actually ended up working out best for me in terms of the overall fit.
If you look at the New Balance range, these are positioned a little differently within it. You've got the 1080, which is positioned as the very comfortable premium cushion shoe, designed mainly, I suppose, for easy runs, long runs, that kind of thing, but also to be used as a daily trainer for lots of people who prefer that more cushioned ride, or if you're a newer runner, this is probably the shoe you'd pick up in the New Balance range as the most comfortable, protective option. The Rebel is pitched more as a fast shoe, it's fair to say, but actually this is the kind of shoe I really like using as a daily trainer because it is still very well cushioned. It's got a lower stack than the 1080, but it's still a high stack and it's higher than it looks on paper to me as well, and feels higher than it is on paper. You can do a lot of running in the shoe, and it's a lot wider and more supportive than previous versions of the Rebel, while still being really lightweight. So those are all things that I really like in a daily trainer, and I had a really great run test with the Rebel. I found it very good for all kinds of runs. Gone up to a 15-mile long run, finishing at a decent pace. I've done a track workout in the shoe. I've mooched around at it at very slow paces, on tired legs, and it's just felt fantastic for everything. Got a nice midsole that's really well balanced. Like, it's got a little bit of firmness and responsiveness there when you are going to up the pace, but it is comfortable enough for relaxed runs, and just in general feels very good to me. Like the PB EVA blend you have here, not exactly sure what the makeup of the midsole is, but it works for me. And I like the wide base of the shoe as well. It does take away a little bit of the nimbleness of the shoe when it comes to faster workouts, but it gives you a lot more support and comfort, I find, for longer runs, while it's still being a very light shoe that I can use for fast workouts. 1080 I didn't like quite as much. It's just less my kind of shoe, I'd say, because it's really soft, it's really cushioned, it's a really soft shoe all round, and I found I was just pushing through the foam a little bit, and it wasn't really getting a nice smooth transition onto the forefoot with it. It just felt comfortable and good for kind of relaxed runs, but not that good for anything else. I also didn't really like running long in the shoe. I did one long run in it and just felt I wasn't working with the shoe as much as working against it at times, just because it is very soft. That's a great feeling for lots of people though. If you like a very soft shoe, you're going to find it in the 1080, and it's very cushy, but yeah, it's just not my kind of thing. Like, it's really comfortable, but I still find the Rebel really comfortable, and I think it's got a lot more about it in terms of versatility. Did a little short run in both shoes at the same time, and you did very much feel the difference in the midsoles. Like, it is a lot softer, the 1080. Rebel has that firmness, it pushes you onto your forefoot more effectively, and it gives you a little bit more pop as a slightly faster focused shoe, and you definitely get that on the run. The 1080 has a much more relaxed and easy feel underfoot with that softness at the heel, and just doesn't roll you through as fast, and it's not really expected to. It is much more of a cushion shoe, but I think it just lacks a little bit of versatility. Not only the Rebel has, but also actually previous versions of the 1080 had, which I think were a bit more geared up for a variety of training. The newest version for me feels much more like an easy day shoe only, and doesn't really have that resiliency I like for long runs, even at very easy paces.
So in terms of my running experience, I spent more time in the New Balance 1080 V13 simply because I've had it a lot longer now. The New Balance Rebel V4 landed when I was still doing kind of deep into my marathon training, so I had been able to kind of test how these handle a kind of range of speeds, distances in terms of those runs as well too. What I would say is, first and foremost, is that I'll start with the New Balance Rebel V4, and obviously you are getting something that really tries to give you experience of what you get in the SC Elite, minus that kind of plate that you're getting in here, but it's just a plateless kind of daily trainer shoe, but you're getting that fuel cell midsole there. You're getting a lighter shoe compared to the 1080 V13, so you're getting that kind of PBA and EVA based foam, so you're getting kind of high rebound bounce. Also getting a firmer edge there as well to make it a shoe that's capable of running quicker. And there's a rocker in there that definitely wants you to get quickly from heel to toe, and that's what I found in it. Now, I do think you can run easy in the shoe, but I do find that with the 1080 V13, you can run a lot easier. It's built for those kind of easier, slower, kind of more comfortable runs. That's what you're getting from that fresh foam kind of X midsole. It's softer, more plush, kind of EVA-based foam. But I have found that I have been able to run a little bit more up tempo. Now, I can't say that I would want to do speed work in this shoe, but I have found the combination of this lighter kind of shoe compared to other kind of cushion daily trainer shoes, but also the kind of rocker that you're getting in the shoe, I have found being able to run a little bit quicker in this shoe. Now, I kind of don't run as quick as Tom and Nick. I'm probably at kind of, when I'm running easy, I'm running kind of sub kind of 9-minute miles, kind of 8:50, kind of around that pace. But when I'm running a little bit more up tempo, I would say it's kind of 7:30 minute mile pace. If I'm running quicker than that, kind of 10k pace, it's kind of down to 6 kind of minute miles, which is where I feel this is more comfortable. Whereas I feel like when I've kind of eased off in this shoe, I found it's working against you a little bit, and it does make me want to run a little bit quicker than probably I'd want to in my easier sessions, where I have found in the 1080 V13, if I've stuck around that 7:30 minute mile pace, as I said, not my all out kind of speed, but my more up tempo pace, it's been absolutely fine. And I found it comfortable doing that. And I've done plenty of kind of training runs, or longer training runs in my marathon kind of training where it's been absolutely fine. I felt like it's been a shoe that I've been able to do that. So I don't think, while there shouldn't technically be a lot of kind of similarities in terms of experience. I have found this shoe can work at easier and kind of moderate to kind of slightly quicker paces based on my experience. Now, from an outsole durability point of view, this is the shoe that is designed to kind of log a lot more mileage. There's a lot more rubber here, as you can say. I think it kind of uses New Balance kind of endurance rubber outsole. There's, it's very similar to what we got on the previous 1080 shoe in terms of formation, in terms of look, but there's more rubber here. From a gripping point of view, I haven't found major issues in general with both, but ultimately, I think from a durability point of view, you're going to get more from this shoe compared to this shoe. But I haven't seen any kind of terrible signs of wear just yet on the Rebel V4, but this shoe tells me that this is going to be the shoe that I'm going to want to run kind of longer runs, kind of really bank a lot of miles in. This is going to be the shoe that I'm going to want to do it in. This is going to be a more focused speed shoe that absolutely can do that, but I think in terms of what you're going to see in terms of outsole performance, from a durability point of view, this is going to give you a little bit more.
Okay, so these two shoes are not necessarily shoes that you'd compare or possibly use for the same things, but they are actually pretty similar in a lot of ways. And I think it really comes down to the softness of that midsole foam. If you're running at a easy pace in both of these shoes, you get a fairly similar ride. Both have quite soft midsoles, both feel very comfortable to run in at easy paces, and yeah, they're quite comparable in that way. The difference really comes down to when you pick up the pace in these shoes. So the 1080 V13, that midsole is very soft. It's very comfortable when you land on it. It's very nice for easy runs. It's very nice for comfortable longer runs if you're just maintaining a nice slow pace. Problem is that midsole doesn't really give you a lot back. So if you start to pick up the pace in this shoe, it doesn't really offer anything in the way of energy return. And it can be a little bit dulling if you are trying to be a bit faster in it, because it will just sort of deaden a lot of the impact that you get, which is great for easy runs because it's very comfortable and protects your legs and makes them feel nice and fresh. But it doesn't really help when you're picking up the pace. So it's not a very versatile shoe. It's definitely a shoe that skews massively towards those easier runs. It's a daily shoe, but it's not a very responsive daily shoe. So I'd definitely say the 1080 V13 really sits firmly in that comfortable, easy run. Whereas the New Balance Rebel comes in with a much more versatile ride. So that midsole, even though it's soft and comfortable and fine for easy runs, if you pick up the pace in it, it's got quite a bit of energy return in it, and you can really do faster efforts in this shoe quite well. I've done interval sessions in this shoe. I've done slightly longer runs, so I've got to about 20k in this shoe, and it's always felt absolutely great for maintaining a pace and picking up the speed quite a bit. It's not the most versatile shoe in the world. I don't think it's as versatile as things like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 or 3, but it's getting close to that, and it obviously doesn't have a plate in it, so you get a different ride than you do with some of those plated shoes. So I think it really comes down to, with these shoes, the versatility of them. If you're just buying a daily shoe for easy runs, they're very comparable. If you're buying it because you want something to go much faster in, they're not comparable. It really comes down to the New Balance Rebel V4 is much more versatile for those runs.
When it comes to picking between these two shoes, the Rebel is a clear favourite for me. I think it's a really fantastic all-round daily trainer. You could look at it as a pure speed shoe if you like to have a non-plated speed shoe in your arsenal, but I think it's just a very versatile all-round shoe. I don't think I need more cushioning than this, even for easy runs and long runs, but if you do want more cushioning, the 1080 provides it. It's definitely the more cushioned shoe, the softer shoe of the two. It might be better for heavier runners, newer runners. You get a bit more benefit from that softness in the midsole, but I just found it was just a bit too soft to me, and I don't really need all that cushioning underfoot myself. You could look at pairing these in a rotation, like you could have a New Balance rotation where the Rebel was your speed day shoe and the 1080 was your easy day shoe, but like I say, for me the Rebel would cover off all the bases and more, so I'd be happy picking up the Rebel just by itself to cover all the runs I do in both of these shoes. At the other end of the scale is if you prefer a much more cushioned daily trainer, a softer shoe, your runs are very relaxed, very easy at all times, and maybe you stick to shorter distances, I think the 1080 will be a very comfortable option for you to have, and it certainly has more cushioning and a softer feel than the Rebel if that's what you're looking for.
So my vote is whether you should go for the New Balance 1080 V13 or the New Balance Rebel V4. And I'll start by saying that I've enjoyed running in both of these shoes. I think these are two fantastic kind of daily trainer shoes, built slightly differently, but they are ones that have continued to be used in my rotation. Now, if you are looking for a fast, focused shoe that you can do speed work, you can race it in, the New Balance Rebel V4 is what you want, because you're getting those traits from the kind of SC Elite range in a kind of cheaper kind of shoe, but ultimately does still feel like a very nice shoe to run fast and quicker in. Now, the New Balance 1080 V13, I think for me, it definitely is about that kind of plush comfort, that kind of comfort over longer mileage. And I think that's what you get here. But I do think, and from my personal experience, you can run a little bit more at tempo in this. You're not going to do speed work in it, but I do think for some runners, and it really depends on what you define as your kind of more up tempo speed. But for me, I have found, because of the lighter kind of design compared to other cushion shoes, the kind of rocker that you're getting in here, it can handle some more up tempo work. So if you were looking for a shoe that could do that, but definitely has a slant more on that kind of easy, comfortable, kind of long run style kind of running, then this is the shoe that can do it. If I had to pick one of these shoes right now, it's very difficult. I think maybe just because of what I've got in terms of the versatility, I probably would just go for the New Balance 1080 V13. But I think if I was looking for that faster daily trainer shoe, no doubt I'd be going for the Rebel V4. It's cheaper. It can run a little bit easier in it, but I do think the focus is to get you running quicker in the shoe and to give you the kind of experience of running in the SC Elite shoe, but in a kind of shoe without a plate and maybe can protect your legs a little bit more, but lets you kind of run and give you that feeling experience of running in its kind of New Balance top tier shoe. So that's how I would look at it. I think I would just about personally go for the New Balance 1080 V13 because I have managed to get a little bit more versatility fit in the kind of paces that I'm running in, and two shoes I've absolutely loved running in.
So my verdict on these two shoes, pretty simple. I think if you are looking for a daily trainer and the majority of your runs or all of your runs are pretty comfortable, easy runs, you're not looking to run faster, you're not looking to do interval sessions or anything like that, I think the 1080 V13 is a much more comfortable, nicer shoe for those sorts of runs just because it's got this really soft, comfortable midsole foam. But for most people, if you're looking for a shoe that can do a lot more, you want to do all of your runs maybe, you want a shoe, you just want one shoe to do everything in, you could even race in maybe, the New Balance Rebel V4 is definitely the one to go for. It's much more versatile, you can do all of your runs in it, so you're getting much more bang for your buck with this shoe. I would say that if you are just using it for easy runs, the New Balance Rebel V4 is okay, it's absolutely fine, but I just think the 1080 is a little bit more comfortable for those easy runs. So it really comes down to the sort of runs or the majority of the runs that you're going to be doing. If you want to do fast stuff, New Balance Rebel V4. If you're mainly doing slow stuff, I think the 1080 V13 is just a bit more comfortable. Other options that you might look for when buying a shoe for your daily sessions are things like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, which is a shoe that is an excellent all-rounder. You can do easy runs in it, but it skews more towards the faster efforts. The plate is a tiny bit more aggressive. It's not the most aggressive plate out on the market, but you will notice it in comparison to these shoes. So if you're looking for an all-rounder that you can go a lot faster in, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 is probably a better option than both of these shoes.
Okay, so there you have it. There's our take on how the New Balance 1080 V13 compares to the New Balance Rebel V4. Now, if you've got any questions about this video, let us know in the comments. If there are other comparison videos you want to see with either of these two shoes, then let us know about that as well too. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about our latest videos. And yeah, we'll see you for the next Run Testers video.